Hello everyone and welcome to the Pip Pin Podcast. My name is Maema Nodecker and I'm a knitwear designer from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Ravelry as Knit Pip Pin, on Instagram as Pip Pin, and at pipandpin.ca. And as always, all those links will be down below. So welcome. Today is November 13th and it is episode 83 and I have some things to share with you today. I have some finished objects, I have some works in progress, some new stuff to show you, and I'll also be digging in a little bit to my design process because I'm kind of starting something new. Anyway, so we will start off with what I am wearing. This is my Maema cardigan. It is a design that I designed many years ago. It's probably still one of my most popular designs that I've ever created. It's just a really light, easy to throw on over everything, kind of open front cardigan. It has some textured brioche, some raglan shaping, and then plain stockinette on the sleeves, which are very wide and loosey-goosey. The yarn that I used for this one is Madeline Tosh Merino Light, which is their single ply fingering weight, and this is the Grace Notes colorway, which is this kind of very gray, like a tonal gray, with some colorful speckles on it. This pattern is great for speckles. That's kind of, I wanted something that would break them up a little bit, and also show them off a bit. I don't know, the textured brioche with a little bit of stockinette, I think did its job exactly how I wanted to do it. And like I said, it's still one of my most popular patterns, and it's probably one of the sweaters that I wear the most. So I'll have a link to that down below. Also, this is something I've been wearing quite a bit. I don't know if it was no, it wasn't in the last video, but this is my Courage shawl by Shannon Cook. She's another kind of BC designer, which is always kind of cool. And that one, oh, I can't remember what I knit that in. I think I used mostly scraps. I think there's a lot of sweet fiber in there. In the pattern, it calls for two like solid colors, like the white and the black. And then I think she uses Spin Cycle to get the colors to change. I just use scraps for my color changes, and yeah, and just did them in gold, and there's rust and pink, and I wear it constantly. It's kind of the only shawl that I wear now is that one, so I thought I'd give it a moment as well. That's the Courage shawl by Shannon Cook. I do have a finished object to share with you, and it is this pair of socks. So I finally finished these guys. These were just my going about mindless knitting socks. They got thrown in my purse and worked on whenever we had the chance. George and I have been going to see quite a few movies recently, so they got a lot of love for that. She also has lots of things going on right now. So on Tuesday, she has musical theater in the evening, so I've been working on these quite a bit in the evening. And then she also, after school, has, or like just before dinner time, she has swimming lessons. So I've been working on these during swimming lessons. And then also for the next couple weeks, starting this week, she has after school handball. So she wanted me to come watch her play handball in the gym with her class or with her team. And so yeah, lots of knitting has been happening on things that I can't look at or pay attention to, and that aren't super bulky. I mean, I've brought my sweaters and stuff before to the pool, and it's so warm and humid in there, I just can't do it. So anyways, that's part of the reason why these got finished so quickly, is because she's got lots of stuff going on. And we've been going to see movies. I think I originally started these because we were going to watch the Barbie movie and I needed something to work on. Anyways, long story, they're finished. These are just a simple top-down vanilla sock, kind of my basic sock recipe. I do 64 stitches because that's what works for me. I don't really know what this contrasting color it was just a ball of yarn I found in my stash. And then this pink is Bigfoot Yarn Company, Bigfoot Yarns, in the Sugar Plum colorway, which is this beautiful pinky purple with pops of teal, and very nutcrackery. I'm sure it was a Christmas colorway. It's called Sugar Plum. Totally makes sense to me. I did a little bit of a different thing with the gusset here, which I like, but I'm probably going to alter a little bit on the next pair to see how I like it even better. I don't know why that's pulling there. I don't know why I'm showing you this terrible side. Here, look at this. This is much better. I don't know why that side is so pulled, but that's okay. They're just going on my feet, so I'm excited to wear these. But I realized I have so many socks now, so I need to stop making socks for a little while, I think, or just start making socks for other people, because I have a giant Ziploc bag full. At the end of last winter, I washed all my socks, I balled them up, and I put them in like this giant Ziploc bag, and it is packed full. Now that it's starting to get colder again, I have been wearing my hand knit socks more and more, so I've taken out a few of my favorite pairs, and I realize I really don't need to take out all of my socks at once. Like, at no point in time are all of them dirty, and so I have my favorite pairs that I wear, and those are really all I need. So yeah, I'm gonna cool it on the sock knitting, on the selfish sock knitting for a while, I think, and just focus on gift knitting or other things, like what I have to show you next. So I did cast on something new because, like I said, Georgia's got a lot going on, and I really needed something to do while doing other things. And I didn't want it to be socks. So originally, I'll show you the yarn first. So this is the yarn that I'm using. It is this kind of gorgeous, really dark. It is black, but it's very blue undertones. And then it has these sections of color. Now, the way that this skein was dyed, it's not speckles. So if you pull apart the skein and it's just the like kind of strands, it's all black, and then there's like a chunk of where these colors come in, just in one little section. So this is beautiful in the skein, and it's gorgeous out of the skein too, but it's really pretty in the skein. It is Fiber for the People, and this is her sport weight yarn. 2-ply sport, doesn't really have a name other than that. And I can't read what the colorway name is. Yeah, I don't know what that says. So that's the colorway. But I'm not exactly sure what that is. I have more of it. I have one skein of the sport weight. My intention was to make socks with it, but I'm not making socks with it. And then I also have 3 skeins of DK, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with yet either, but it was just so pretty. So this is the yarn. It's gorgeous. Originally, what I wanted to do was make myself an Aurora headband. So that is a headband pattern that I designed that kind of has a, you can use any weight yarn for it, and it is double thick and kind of goes around, and then it has this cute little crisscross in the front. I have many of them already, but I really wanted a dark one. I don't have a dark one yet, so I thought this would be kind of cool. But when I started making it, just because of the circumference of it and how the yarn is dyed, it was doing some really weird pooling, like big clumps that were kind of going diagonal, which is fine for some projects. It was not fine for this one, especially because the crisscross section, I knew it wasn't going to be consistent. So I just cut my losses. I only knit about this much or so, cut my losses. I tried going down in needle size to see if that would switch things up a little bit more. It didn't, so I ripped it out. I suppose I could have like started alternating from the other end, and that would have broken things up a bit too, but I just really wanted something that I didn't have to pay attention to, and it was really turning into something that I did have to pay attention to. So yeah, I just stopped, I cut it off, and I didn't cut it off, I just unwound it because that would be silly. And I started making a Musselburgh hat. I never made one of these before, but it is a very popular pattern by Isolde de Teague. Also for multi-weights, I think she has written it for fingering to DK. So really, really cool pattern. It's one of those things where I absolutely could have just reverse engineered it. I mean, it is a very simple concept. It's a very simple hat. But I didn't want to. I just wanted to cast something on and have someone else tell me what to do. And so in my mind, it's totally worth spending the money on simple patterns for that fact alone. And the way she's written it is actually really, really cool because you don't have to know your gauge. You don't have to do anything like that. You knit a little bit and then base your hat off of that. Anyway, so you start at the top, and this is kind of what mine looks like right now. So if you have not heard of the Musselburgh hat before, it is, like I said, just a pretty simple beanie. You start at the top, and then you do some increases until whatever your gauge says to do, and then you just knit straight. And as you can see, well, let me finish explaining that. You knit straight all the way, and then you knit more. So probably, I think I'll knit about 20 inches in total. And then you'll do decreases the same as the top so that they match. And then you kind of flip one end into the other. So you make it double thick. So this is gonna be a really warm hat with sport weight yarn. Most people make it in fingering weight or lighter, which I completely understand, but this is just the yarn hat. So I'm maybe halfway done. It's great because now I'm just knitting around and around and around. And as you can see, there is some pooling, but it's not how it was pooling before. Like this kind of looks like cool little stripes, which I'm okay with. I actually think is really cool. When I was making the headband, it was kind of like all the color was going like in like a weird thing. stripes I'm okay with. So whatever this is doing right now, I'm very happy with. It all kind of looked like this weird section, but that's on the top of the hat. I'm okay with that. Yeah, so that is my mindless project that will probably be done the next time I podcast because it seems to be going really fast, and yeah, quite enjoying that. And I think that's gonna be for me. If I don't end up liking it, I can give it away as a Christmas present. The other thing that I have been working on is last time you saw my Maema DK that was in a timeout sitting over there on my mannequin. I finally decided what changes I was going to make to it. I talked it over with a friend of mine, and she gave me some of her thoughts as well, and that always kind of helps the process too. So I did end up taking off the entire collar. I didn't like it. I didn't like the 1x1 rib. I didn't like how it was laying. It felt too tailored almost, like it felt too fancy. That's just not my style at all, so I took it out. So I'm actually went backwards with this project, but I am now continuing forward. So hopefully it will work out. I took the collar off and I re-picked up the stitches. Generally for like a 1x1 rib, I'll pick up 2 stitches for every 3 rows. For this, I changed it to garter stitch for one. So I picked up every other row, and that seems to work for me when I do garter stitch. And I'm just knitting it flat. I'm not putting any shaping in. I'm not doing any short rows. Generally when I do kind of a folded collar, I double the stitches kind of at the back, so there's more fabric in the back and it kind of goes around. I don't want it to do that. I want it to scrunch around my neck. So I didn't do any additional stitches around the neckline at all. And I'm just gonna knit like, I don't know, at least 6 inches. I have a whole ball of yarn left, plus all the yarn that is from my previous collar. So we'll see how far this gets. And it's gonna be really, really big, and it's just gonna be like scrunched around your neck. Other than that, nothing else has changed. The sleeves are the same, the body is the same. I did leave the hem the same as well. And then we just have, it's all scrunched up because I don't have a long cord on it right now. But yeah, I feel like I'm definitely feeling the garter stitch more than I was the 1x1 rib. So hopefully that'll work. I do also really want to make another sample of that in the same style as this, you know, because I did change quite a few things about the DK weight Maema. That's the DK weight version of this thing, and they do look quite different because that one has the long sleeves and it's gonna have this big collar. So I almost want to knit another sample and include it in the instructions on how to make it like this one. So with the 3/4 sleeves and with the this. I'm gonna put the instructions in regardless, but now I kind of want another sample. And I'm thinking maybe it would work with my fiber for the people yarn, but I also don't have a ton of time to knit it. So that's something I might get a sample knitter to do for me. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. Because I'm also really picky when it comes to variegated yarn. So yeah, it's a fine line of letting other people do things and having creative control over things as well. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. We'll see if I hire somebody out to do that or do it myself or not do it at all. That's also an option. The other the last thing that I've been working on is swatching. So I've just been doing more swatching. I know I've showed you these before. That's for a color work cardigan that I'm working on. And then I also have been working on these 2 swatches, which is for another cardigan. And this is with Fiddly Dye Works, her worsted yarn. Did I have the name written down? Nope, I don't. But this is the colorway Goose. This is the colorway I fell in love with last year at Knit City. Ooh, look at those cables. It's kind of this beautiful, like warm, dark brownie gray. I bought a skein of it last year at Knit City and made a hat out of it and wore that hat every single day. And so I asked her if she would be interested in collaborating on a design together, and she said yes. So I'm gonna be working on this one. And I do really love how plump her worsted base is. It's just so lovely. So this is kind of the cable. You can see my kind of my flow of ideas here. I kind of started with these little 1/2 cables, which I like those too, but maybe not for this project. And then I kind of used them on the edge and did a little bigger thing and this thing, and things weren't kind of working out exactly how I wanted. But then I figured it out, added some more stitches, and then this is my final swatch. I do like doing my swatches like this when I'm figuring out stitch patterns so that I can kind of see everything. I can see the whole process. I don't know. I think that's neat. So these 2 at the bottom are no's. This one's the no, not for this, but maybe for something else. This one was me figuring things out. And then this is the actual finished swatch, which I will use for my sweater. And then of course I just have my stockinette swatch because there is going to be a lot of stockinette as well. I have my sketch here too, which I haven't really shown too many of my sketches before, but a lot of the time when I start designing, I have an idea in my head and I always think that I'm gonna remember what I'm thinking. But it's always easier when I put it on paper. So I have been getting better at actually putting things on paper, writing notes. Like, my sketches are not works of art. They are literally for my own reference, but I'm gonna share them with you today. So here we go. Now it's for you too. So this is a little quick sketch of what this sweater is gonna look like. I did it on a body and then more of a flat lay as well. So it's gonna be really oversized width-wise, but maybe a little more, not cropped, but not long. As you can see, I still haven't really decided whether I want, I actually did the sketch before I was doing my swatch, so this is not representative of what the swatch is at all anymore. But I still don't know whether I want to have it, you know, full repeats across the whole thing, or just one. I was thinking kind of, because it's going to be drop shoulder, so I was thinking kind of just along this line here and then have the rest stockinette. I'm also not really sure if I'm going to do the cable across the sleeve or not, but I drew it in there anyways. And then I just have some notes about how I want it to fit, where I want the length to be, you know, how much ease it's going to have. It's going to be oversized. It's going to be 10 to 12 inches of positive ease, because you know how I like my positive ease. It's going to be drop shoulders because you know how I love my drop shoulders. And then it'll just be a V-neck, kind of like grandpa-y, super comfy, cozy little cardigan. Pockets, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So that's kind of what I've been working on, figuring out. That'll probably be my next actual sweater cast on. Even though I started this one first, I still am thinking on it. There's still some things that I need to figure out and decide on. And like I said before, most of my decisions just come with time. I can't really force them, because when I try and force them, it just doesn't work. So I just give myself time to look at them over there. They just live there. I look at them every day. I think about it every day. And one day it will just be like, yep, this is what I'm doing. And I'll do it and it'll be great. This was already kind of the funny thing is I have the swatch for this, but I don't have the sweater shape down and I don't really have all the details down. I know what collar I want. But other than that, like I'm not sure if I want to do it raglan or a set in sleeve yet. So that's kind of where my brain is stuck. This one here, I have the full vision of what it's going to look like in my head already. I know the construction. I know pretty well all the basic shapes of it. So I really just had to figure out my cable pattern. And now that I have that, I can start piecing this one together. So I'll probably start working on that next week. While I finish up the collar on my Maema, and then all is well with the world. That's about it for knitting stuff. I do, last week, 2 weeks ago, I did have a sale in my shop for some samples that I had found that I'm willing to part with. There are still a few available. Most of them are sold. I'm not gonna lie, but there are still a couple of those samples available. I think I'll probably take the ones that sold off the website today. But I think there's 2 headbands, there's a hat and a shawl left. So if you're interested in seeing what is still available of my sample sale, you can find that there. And I feel like now that I've done that, There were a couple other pieces that I was iffy about, but I feel like now I can go through everything again and just be a little more ruthless. So I might be having another sample sale soon, just so you know. Yeah, because there's just some things that I like, but I don't wear and I've never really worn. So yeah, we'll see about those. But there might be another sample sale coming soon. Another thing that's coming up really quick is the Indie Design Gift Along. Now, if you're not sure what the Indie Design Gift Along is, it is a really fun event. It's kind of geared towards gift knitting and making things for other people. But you can absolutely make for yourself. I mean, you don't have to. I don't generally knit gifts. I knit for people, but kind of not really for Christmas. That's too much pressure for me. But that's kind of where the gift along bit comes in. Basically, it's a big giant knit along. A bunch of independent designers get together. We have a big sale at the very beginning. From November 21st to the 27th, there's a big sale with all of the participating designers. Not on every single one of our designs, but I'll make sure I put a link below to all of the information you can find out. 20 of my patterns will be on sale during that time. And then during the knit along, you can knit any pattern from any of the participating designers. So you don't just have to knit the sale patterns, you can knit whatever you want. There's tons of prizes, there's games, there's like Q&A things, there's, what else do they do? There's Instagram, like prompts that kind of happen during the whole thing. Yeah, so it's just a really big, fun event. There's different prizes for different categories, there's physical prizes, there's pattern prizes, and there's tons of pattern prizes. Yeah, so just a word of warning about the gift along. If you've never encountered it before, if you've never heard of it before, it can be a little daunting and a little bit overwhelming because it is quite a large event. It's held on Ravelry, and there are forums, there's lots of information about it, which I will link to down below so you can read all about it when you want to. There's lots of chat groups in that Ravelry group. There's lots of like threads of chat that can get a little overwhelming. My advice is to just jump in. You know, everyone there is really nice. So if you are unsure about something or how it really works, or if you're doing it right, you can just ask questions and people will be really helpful for when you're first getting started. You will get the hang of it really quick. And it is super fun and encouraging, and it's really nice to like knit together with people. Yeah, so if you are at all interested in that, I will make sure that I put the links to that down below. And yeah, I'll make sure I send out an email when the knit alongs, or yeah, when it starts as well, with all of the like sale info and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'll send that out next week, I guess. So if you're not signed up for a newsletter, you should be, because all that information, actually all the information about everything generally gets sent out to my email newsletter first. So when I do shop updates, when I do new releases, when I have discounts, sometimes I do special discounts for newsletter subscribers. So if you are not signed up, you should do that. There is also another knit along starting that I did not write the information down for, but it is kind of along the same lines, except it is not on Ravelry. So it is specifically not on Ravelry. So if you have issues with that site, it's called the Fasten Off Yarn Along. Yeah, Fasten Off Yarn Along or FOYAL. I will put a link to that website below as well because I am a participating designer in that. I believe it starts a little bit later. Like I think it starts on the 26th of November, maybe. I didn't write that information down. But all that information for both of them will be in my next newsletter. And I'll put a link to it down below as well. But I think that is about it for today. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the gift along. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.